Hey guys, Payback 2013 review. First of all, I want to say sorry I didn't review Extreme Rules earlier on. I was in New York at the time and I watched it in a bar and I could barely see the screen and I was feeling kind of ill. So I need to watch it again before I can give it a proper review. But the gist of it was I was pretty damn disappointed by it. That Cena Ryback finish sucked. I didn't really care for the Brock Lesnar Triple H match, so yeah, I didn't really particularly like Extreme Rules. But I got to say, I thought Payback was actually a really decent, solid pay-per-view. You had every single belt on the line, which I thought was good. We kicked off the show with Sandow and Sheamus, which this is pre-show. I think it's kind of says a lot about Sheamus and how he's just really not doing it anymore, how he's been relegated to the pre-show. Personally, I'm sick and tired of him. I'm half Irish. I should really like Sheamus, but frankly, I don't give a fuck about him. I think they should turn him heel, but obviously they won't, because just like Cena, he sells t-shirts to little children, which is bullshit. He won this match, which I think sucked, because Sandow, I think, is just very entertaining. I think he should be pushed further on, but you know, standard bullshit from the WWE. Then we got to the main card. We kicked off the Intercontinental title match. I thought this was really good. I kind of like what they're doing with Curtis Axel. It was great that they played up to him being Mr. Perfect Son and this is Father's Day, so that was quite a nice touch about it. The match itself was pretty decent. I think Miz actually looked relatively good. Like, obviously you got the Chicago crowd, so they're gonna boo most of the faces. I think Miz was far better as a heel. You know, I really think they should turn him back. Just another example of the WWE having characters that are not suited to their roles, just for the purposes they might attract casual fans. Like casual fans might like Sheamus, and casual fans might like the Miz because he's on the real word. When really they should both be fucking heel. And I think it just very typical of WWE. But I'm sidetracking from the match, which again was quite good. I think Wade Barrett, I hate to say this as a Brit, is pretty much over. His credibility is just being completely shot. It really sucks. He keeps on getting new music. His new music is shit. But yeah, Mr. Perfect. Ooh, Freudian slip. Curtis Axel won the match. It's a shame he couldn't have won it with the perfect plex, which would have been great, seeing as his Father's Day. And I thought the finish was a bit random. Like, technically, didn't Miz pin him too? That was all kind of random, but whatever. Curtis Axel won the belt, and the crowd went mad for him. And I thought it was actually a really nice little opener. Then we had the Divas match, which I got to say is the first Divas match I've actually given a shit about for forever, like literally since the days of Trish Stratus. You know, every time it comes on TV, I forward it. I do not give a single minuscule fuck about Divas matches 99.9% of the time. But this was really good. They had a good storyline going into it. Ashley, I think that's her name, is kind of winning me. Not Ashley. I don't even. I can't even remember her name. That's how little I care about her. Natalia or Natasha. They're all the fucking same. I actually care about her a little bit more after this match. I thought she looked kind of vulnerable. That's what you need to do with faces. You need to make them look vulnerable, so you kind of care for them. You know, obviously AJ, I think, is a really great wrestler. I'm glad she won the belt. It looked like she really cared about it. So that was quite a nice moment. And yeah, again, this is probably one of the first Divas matches for a long time I've really given a shit about, so thumbs up to the WWE for that. Then we got Kane versus Dean Ambrose. I thought this was actually kind of bad. I'd have liked to have seen them gone a little longer. Maybe, you know, they had time constraints. I don't like how Dean Ambrose didn't win clean. A win is a win, so I'm not complaining too much, but it's just another little kind of lazy thing the WWE are doing, not giving like heels clean wins, and that kind of pissed me off. But this was actually a pretty average match, still not too bad. And I really like Dean Ambrose, although I think Seth Rollins to me is the standout performer of the Shield. I really like him. I kind of wish it was him who actually had the US title. Then we had the World Heavyweight Championship match. This was a decent match. Now, in a way, I could be so angry about this that they made Dolph Ziggler lose his belt on the first defense. In a way, that kind of could be disgusting. But what maybe they're trying to do is maybe he's still legit injured and maybe he's going to be off TV for a while. If that's the reason why they made him lose the belt because of injury, then that's A-okay. But another thing they might be doing is maybe a double turn where Ziggler might be turning face and Del Rio a heel. In a way, I think that's stupid because as much as, again, I don't like Del Rio as a face, I still think that he does fit a role, you know, the kind of Latin American star, you know, lots of money from like Mexicans and stuff. I think that's great. Turning him heel seems like a bit of a stupid financial mistake. Normally I don't give a fuck about the financials of the business, but you can't ignore them, and frankly turning him Del Rio heel seems a bit stupid. But turning Ziggler face, in my opinion, it has to happen. I think he's naturally a face. You know, he's a good looking guy, he's a great wrestler, he can sell a bump. he can look like he's getting beaten the fuck up and then pull a win out of nowhere, which is kind of what faces should be doing. And I think maybe if that's what they're doing, then I can forgive Ziggler losing the belt, and perhaps they have him off the TV for a couple months, bring him back a repackage as a face. That would be great. If they're just giving the belt to Del Rio, then this was disastrous, and they really fucked Ziggler over, but I'm not really sure that's the case. So this was quite entertaining, and yeah, Del Rio really beat the fuck out of Ziggler, so yeah, not too bad. Then we had the CM Punk match. This was fantastic. You know, you can never go wrong with a CM Punk match in Chicago. I think Jericho's great. It's really hard to boo Jericho because he's just such a performer and he's such a legend. But this was a really clean, tasty match. I think CM Punk looks like he's put on a bit of weight, or he just looks a bit flabbier. Like, you know, I really want, even though the zeitgeist has changed, you don't have all these big, muscular, jacked up guys, and that's a good thing so people aren't dying of steroid abuse and heart attacks. But seriously, sometimes I really wish they just tell people like CM Punk to bulk up just a little bit. You know, Kofi Kingston bulk up a little bit more, because it's just not that believable. And I've got to say, CM Punk looked kind of out of shape, and I actually wish he'd just fucking pull some weights for a change, because I bet you £1,000,000 he doesn't even he doesn't even try to improve his physique, and I really wish they'd do more of that. But yeah, this was a pretty decent match. CM Punk winning with 2 GTSs, I thought that was fantastic. Just, yeah, very good stuff. Then we had the tag team titles match. This was pretty disappointing considering just how great the recent matches on Raw have been with the Shield. By a mile, this is like the least entertaining of all of those matches. I thought Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan, I think last week, was a phenomenal match. It was one of the greatest matches on Raw I've seen for a long time. Like I said earlier, I think Seth Rollins looks like a future star. He'll probably be a face. He can really work. You know, Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins are both, you know, ROHXs, and you could just tell that they've just got such great chemistry with each other. And unfortunately, we didn't really get to see any of that tonight on this pay-per-view. But nonetheless, it was good. Daniel Bryan is over as shit. He has got to be built up to win the WWE title at some point, maybe win Money in the Bank or the Royal Rumble. I would like to see him with the belt at the end of WrestleMania 30. I really think they should push Daniel Bryan. I think he's proven a lot of people wrong. I've always seen it in Daniel Bryan. I've always thought he had the X factor. A lot of people are just like, oh, he's too short, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't have the charisma. No, he's got it all. And for such a small guy, he legit looks like he could kick some ass. So I love Daniel Bryan. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. Maybe we're about to go down a Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan route. Maybe have that match at SummerSlam, which would be a good idea, especially if you have Bryan win that match clean. Obviously, Orton should be a heel, and Daniel Bryan should be the future face of the company, in my opinion, because absolutely everybody loves him. Children, smart marks, casual fans, you name it. Everyone seems to like Daniel Bryan, so I hope to see more of him in the future. Then we go to the main event. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually didn't mind this match, even though I kind of had hopes that Ryback might pull off a shock win, because I'd like to think, it's probably not true, but I'd like to think the WWE are finally realising, look, no one likes fucking Cena. It's over. It's just never ever going to work. People are just complaining like fucking mad about Cena. I'm sick and tired of him. And the WWE, really, they can't possibly have their head buried that deep into the sand. They must know people that are sick and tired of Cena. So I was kind of hoping maybe they'd shock the world and give it to Ryback. But considering the amount of time they wasted in investing in Cena's winning the belt, basically 3 WrestleMania main events have culminated to this one point where he has the belt. So to end it after 2 months would be a bit stupid. So fair enough, Cena won. I hate that, but Ryback looked great. We had some really cool spots. I thought it was actually really funny when Cena jumped off the top rope and landed, and like all 20 people like fell down because Cena's so powerful. But actually that was humorous, and wrestling is about having a laugh. So that was kind of cool. The powerbomb from Ryback into the announce table was brutal. I love that. I was really pissed off when they turned Ryback heel. I thought he could have been a good face, but you know what? He's rolling with it, and it has to be said, he's far better suited at being a heel. His move set, his power moves are far better for heels instead of faces, so it's kind of working for me. And even though he lost, I thought he actually looked pretty fucking badass, so you know, I'm pretty content with the way this kind of whole went down. And I'm a bit pissed off that he lost at WrestleMania to Mark Henry, because obviously now, even and we had some vignettes throughout the thing showing Mark Henry. Obviously Mark Henry's going to come, and fucking Super Cena's going to kick his ass too. So that's just kind of bullshit. Everything yet again revolving around John fucking Cena. But yeah, you know, it was okay, and there were some quite cool spots. And in fact, I've got to say, I reckon the WWE are slightly getting more violent. I've really noticed it over the last few months. You know, you are getting like chair matches on Raw. You are getting, you know, ambulance matches and stuff at random pay-per-views. So maybe the WWE are actually getting just a little bit more risque, and that's a good sign. And actually, Extreme Rules I did watch, I just didn't enjoy it because it was still the same remnants of WrestleMania. WrestleMania I thought sucked and was just typical, you know, going back to the old heads like Triple H and John Cena. This pay-per-view, in my opinion, actually kind of showcased a lot of the future talent, and I think it did a good job of setting up future matches. So all in all, I'd give this a 7.5. It's quite generous, but it was very solid, and I don't really think there was anything particularly in it that pissed me off. It will be if Ziggler just fucking lost it clean, but if he turns face, then that'll be kind of cool. So yeah, it was a very decent pay per view, and I quite liked it. And yeah, thumbs up WWE. Peace out.